Hello everybody, Lila's Gigi here. Today I am going to show you how to make Regal Bearing by Crazy Mama. Cynthia has, I believe she has another bracelet, Lady in Red I think it is. I'll have to take a look. And I believe this is a sister bracelet to that. Suzanne, Crazy Just Might Work, named that for her, Regal Bearing. If you are not following Cynthia, give her a follow for me. She has some awesome designs on her account, and I was looking for the other one. Yeah, it's probably down here. I believe this is the one, the Lady in Red, and I believe that the Regal Bearing is the sister to this. She has just started designing, so hop on over to Instagram and like her photos and give her a follow for me. She's an awesome, awesome lady. Hi there. So I wanted to pop in before we started the tutorial to talk to you about the width of the bracelet. I stopped 5 from the top, and it is short for me. My wrist is 6.5 inches around. You might want to consider going stopping right here, because you'll be bringing it together on diagonals here to the center. Depending upon how large your wrist is, you might even consider adding another loom to this and going up maybe 5 or 6 pins. I guess it's a pretty easy bracelet to make, so if it is too small, you could go ahead and make it again. It's it works up very quickly. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to pop in and talk to you about the size. And it's about 1.25 inches in width. All right, let's get back to the tutorial. Okay, so a couple of things. I normally do silver, as most of you know. If you've seen my designs, I mostly use silver. Well, I'm going to use purple and gold only in this. And I'm going to use this beautiful, beautiful bead here. It's 4 holes. And I'm going to go every 3rd space on this. That's 1, 2, 3. Give me just a second. 18. Yeah, I think that's going to work. I only have 7 of these beads. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I have 7 of these beads. And Trish will call me the counter, because in my last video I just couldn't stop counting the pin bars, and you know, I had 12 of them for that sugar skull that I did. So she was teasing me about that. But I'm going to do every 3rd one for this. Now, if you want to do every 2nd one, you certainly can, because that's what's in the flipogram. And also, you know, this has 4 holes. Now, if you don't have 4 holes, what I would suggest is, instead of laying them across, is to actually lay them diagonal here, so that you get a little bit more of a stretch. Yeah, because you can't really lay them across because there are no pins here. So if you have one that's just a 2-holer, by all means, you can stretch it from this pin diagonal to this pin. Okay, so I had already done this, so that's why if you go up here, you will see that I have bands laid here. For some reason, and I had it plugged in this time, I promise, my sound did not take, so we're doing this part over. And a lot of times that's why you will see me just do small snippets, because I go back and take a look at it, make sure the sound is correct, make sure the video looks good, you know, before I go on to the next section when I'm filming. It would be nice to be able to do it from, you know, start to finish, but, you know, these things happen. So this is your layout. The middle 3 are the same, and then you drop down on both sides. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to lay a closure band right here, and I'm going to go diagonal to the right twice. 1 and 2. Oh, that looks pretty bad, doesn't it? Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. I'm afraid that might break, so that's going to go in my recycle pile. So, Oh, and can you see this? This is swollen. I know it's pretty close. Let me back it up a little bit. My goodness, all of a sudden there's a big hand there. I don't have my rings on. This knuckle is swollen and red. I think I was bitten by something because the other one, you know, you can see my knuckle, and here it's kind of sore. This, I was going to do a hook only, but for a hook only, I really need, you know, to use my fingers a lot on my left hand, and I'm right-handed. So it just makes it easier for me to, the loom for me is easier if my hand is sore like that poor little baby is. And you can see where my rings were. But yeah, I don't know if something bit me or what, but yesterday I had my tablet and I was reviewing some videos, and all of a sudden, you know, I started to get up and I opened up my hand was around my tablet, and when I went to move my fingers, oh my gosh, they hurt so bad. Okay, so when you get to the top, you're gonna, to close this off, you're gonna go like you did your diagonals up here. You're gonna actually make another point, so it's gonna be the exact opposite of this. I'll show you when I get there. So I'm doing a plain band on both sides, and you can do, you know, each side if you want, instead of doing it going back and forth. So I'm going to attach my bead to this one, and then plain band. So if you're not beading them, that's fine. You can do plain bands all the way up, but I am going to go ahead and add that since I had already done it previous. So let's go over to the other side. I'm going to add my beaded band to this straight up. So we're just doing the perimeter bands right now. And then my plain band, and then I'm going to take this beaded band and add it. So I believe we stopped, I stopped 5, oops, so sorry. I stopped 5 from the top. So this is what it looks like at the top. So you do your single bands at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you know what I meant to do? I think it is 5. I don't like having a beaded band on the end, so I try to make it even with the other side. So all I'm doing is just taking this band straight up. Okay. And I believe if I read her flipogram correctly, she stopped on the 5th pin bar down, which is what we just did. All right, so then on the left-hand side, when you get to the top, take it out to the right twice from that left-hand side, and go over to the right-hand side and take it to the center diagonal twice. Okay? Alrighty, so this is what your loom should look like. Just the perimeter bands and points on both ends. Alright, I will be right back. I'm going to check this video, make sure it's good to go, and then we'll go to the next step. Alrighty, so I am back, and what we're going to do now is we're going to lay zigzags up the left side and the right side. 3 pin bars up, you'll go diagonal to the right, diagonal to the left, diagonal to the right, and diagonal to the left. Now, before we go any further, we want to go ahead and lay a single band on the 2nd pin bar, 2nd pin, straight up. Okay? When you get to the top, you're going to do the exact same thing. All right? So let's go over to the other side here. Right hand side, 3 pins up, diagonal to the left, diagonal to the right, diagonal to the left, and diagonal to the right. So go ahead and lay those zigzags all the way up to the end, and let's not forget to put this band right here. Okay? Alright, so go ahead and lay those zigzags, and I will be back with you when I finish mine. And when you get to the top, do not forget to lay that last single band. Alright, I will be back with you. Alrighty, so I am back, and this is what my loom looks like at the top. I know I didn't show you this, but they came in on a diagonal. This is for the border band. So I did my zigzags out, and I added the single band right here. And Sebastian is talking tonight instead of screeching. So this is what your loom should look like. I don't know if you can hear him in the background or not. All right, so I was limited on how many of these beads I had, so I'm going to lay mine every third. I believe, let me just take a look at this flipogram real quick. I believe she laid them, let's see, she skipped 1, 2. She laid them, she started laying them right here where this band came up. Okay, so they went across this way and here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go up to the next one because I'm limited. I think I have 7, and so I'm going to skip spaces between these. I'm going to have actually 3 spaces between everything. So I'm going to face down. I'm going to put that band there, and then let me use my hook. And then I'm going to hook this band across here. Okay, so the bead is actually in the center here. And then I'm kind of going to hold this piece right here because I don't want it to come apart, just in case as I'm laying this one. So I'll put that one there, and it will span across to this one. Okay, so you can decide depending upon the size of your beads. Like I said, she did every other one, and I'm going to have 2 spaces between instead of 1. Okay, and hopefully it will still look as nice. All right, so rewind that if you have to, and I will be back with you and show you where I laid my beads. Okay, so I'm back, and this is where I laid my last bead, and as you can see, I just spanned it across these 2 pins and these 2 pins, and this is what my loom looks like. Okay. Alrighty, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to go second up. Okay, well, let's start with the center. Second pin up, going to go diagonal to the left and diagonal to the right, up. Okay, and I chose to use the same color bands in the center here as the bands that were on my my bead, and I'll tell you why, because I'm not sure how tight that's going to be when I loop it up, and I didn't want, you know, if it was a little loose, I didn't want it to stand out as a different color. Okay, so a V here, and now we're going to do an upside down V. So third pin in the center, down to the left and down to the right. Okay, all right, so from here, same pin here that we just put that upside down V on, we're going to do a V. Up to the left, up to the right, diagonal that is. Fourth pin bar, diagonal down to the left and down to the right. I'll do that with you one more time. You're going to do that all the way up to the end of the loom, and then I think we're going to be done with this and start looping it, if memory serves me correctly. All right, so now we are the fourth pin bar, middle pin bar, fourth pin up, diagonal up to the left, up to the right, go up to the next one, diagonal down to the left and down to the right. Okay, so go ahead and finish that all the way up. You can see my swollen hand there. Oh, it hurts. All right, so go ahead and finish that all the way up to the top of the loom, and then I will meet you back here when I'm done. Rewind if you have to, and I'll be right back with you. Alrighty, so I am back, and I laid, so the third down from the where your bands are, I laid to the left and to the right, and I went up and I laid down to the left and down to the right, and then I also laid a band straight up. Okay, and you will need a cap band here, here, and here. So on 2, 3, and 4, you'll need a cap band. let's go down to the bottom because this is what your loom should look like. Okay, and at the bottom we also need to lay a band here. Now I'm pretty sure, because we're going to be looping everything up, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is just on top should be okay. We'll let you know when we get there, when we looping it up. I couldn't really tell on the flipagram, but that's okay. That's all right. We'll work around that. All right, so let's flip this little guy around, and let's get ready to loop up. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to reach into the center. Let me get a little bit closer. Not too much, but a little. Going to the center, we're going to loop this band straight up. So go in through the cap band, grab that band on top. Did I have it? It's purple, so it's kind of hard to tell for me. And loop it straight up. All right. So this is how it's going to go, because we're going to start in the center first, and then we're going to take care of these over here. So it gets looped back to itself. Everything gets looped back to itself. So the second pin up from where your cap band is, loop that out to the left. Go in, grab the next one, loop it out to the right. Okay, we're going to drop down, go through this cap band, the second pin bar, and loop that to the center. Drop over to the other one, go through that cap band, grab the band that's on top, and loop it up into the center. Okay, so we're going to repeat that. Going into the third pin up, band on top gets looped back to itself. Okay, the next one gets looped back to itself. Drop down. Going to do this diagonal that goes to the center here, looping it back to itself. Drop down here, grab that band that loops, that goes up, oh goodness, diagonal to the left, and we're going to loop it back to itself. All right, I'll do that with you one more time. So from the center band, everything gets looped back to itself. So the center gets looped out, and you go drop down here, and that gets looped in. So let's go ahead and do that. And my bead is in the way a little bit. All right, band on top, diagonal up and to the left. Band should be the only band on there, up and to the right. Drop down, grabbing these bands that go diagonal to the center. Drop down, grab this other band, and it goes diagonal into the center. All right, so finish that all the way up, and I will be back with you. So I am back, and from the center here, I took this one out and that one out. I dropped down and brought this to the center and to the center. And the last thing I'm going to do in here is go in and grab that band that loops straight up and loop it back up to itself. Okay, and this is what your loom should look like. All right, so I have a feeling I'm probably going to have to put an extension on this, but I won't know for sure until I'm finished. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to loop up the single bands and the zigzags. So just go in, grab that single band that goes straight up and down, loop it back to itself, go into that same pin, grab the band on top, should be the diagonal that goes down. It's getting kind of tight in there, so I don't want to break it. I'm pretty sure that that's the one, and I believe I went through everything. And, oh, no, I guess I did something wrong there. Let me put that back. Okay, I think what I did was I failed to go through this bottom piece there. All right. So what you want to do is you want to go through everything on there and grab that top band. And it should loop back just like that. Okay? And what this is doing is it's catching this band that your bead is on. All right, so everything gets looped back to itself. I'll do that with you one more time. I'm going to go up to the next pin, go through everything, grab that diagonal that goes down to the left, go back in and grab the diagonal that goes up into the right and loop it back. All right, I'll do this one more time. You talked me into it. All right, diagonal that goes down gets looped to the border, and the diagonal that goes up to the left gets looped to the border. So you'll do that all the way up to the end, and the very last thing you'll do is you'll take that single band that goes straight up and loop it back to itself. Okay, so I'm going to go over to this side here. Second pin bar from the right, go in through that cap band, grabbing that band that goes straight up. Okay, go through all the bands on here and grab the top band, which is a diagonal that goes down to the right. Same band, same pin, diagonal that goes up to the left. Go up to the next one and grab the diagonal that goes down and loop it back. Same pin, diagonal that goes up. Okay, and go down here, go through everything on there, grab that diagonal that goes down to the right, and then the diagonal that goes up to the right. Okay, so do those zigzags all the way up to the end of the loom, and don't forget to do that single band at the top. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you last step to this is the border. So I'm going to go ahead and take the border off up to where I was right here, and then when I come back I will show you how to close it off, and I will have most of it off of the loom. All right, so go in through that cap band, grab the band that is on top in your perimeter band and loop it back to itself. Go through all the bands on that pin and loop it, grabbing that border band, oh it's awful tight in there, and loop it back to itself. Okay, go in, just follow the border band all the way around until they meet in the center. Let's do this side also. Go in here, grab that border band, bring it back to itself, go into that same pin, grabbing that border band and looping it back to itself, and then do every one that goes straight up and then loop them in until they meet in the center. And I will be back with you. Alrighty then, so I am back, and what I wanted to tell you was this right here, this band that went straight up, was the band that was on top. So it went up before these got looped out on mine. Hopefully yours is the same thing. And it doesn't really matter about, you know, if you had laid that first. I mean, you could have laid it first. It still catches everything. So, so we're good to go there. So do not rip your bracelet off. Very gently take it off the sides. Now I stopped right here because I wanted to go ahead and finish the border with you. So I'm going to loop it back to itself. Go in and grab that last border band there. It's kind of tight for me. I'm looping it back. Okay, I'm going to go over to the other side and finish my border here. That would have been a disaster if I hadn't finished that, because my bracelet would have fallen completely apart. Okay, so now that you have that on there, we had laid, if you did this, we laid that closure band. You're going to go through everything on your hook, grab that closure band, and bring it straight up, bring it together. I'm going to pull it, make sure I've got it, and you can see that it's all has everything all caught in there. You can use a C-clip to close this if you want. I'm going to use my little clip here. All right, let me put that down for a second. Close that up. It's nice and secure. It's not going anywhere. Whoops, keep knocking this camera. I'm going to go ahead and take this off of here. I'm going to go over to the other side, bring those up and over. Okay, and then I'm going to just drop down and finish taking this off. Very carefully, I don't want anything to break. this has turned out very, very nicely. I'm very pleased with it. I think it's going to be a little small, and that might be because I used these LEs. I'm not sure. But that's okay because I like to use, let me bring this out a little bit and put this away. I'll just put it down on the floor here. This is what I took off the loom. Isn't that gorgeous? This would be beautiful in royal blue also. Now, it is small for my wrist. I mean, it's very small for my wrist, so I'm going to have to add a larger closure for it. Stretching it out might help some. I'm going to straighten my beads. I don't have a lot of bands to straighten because I use the LE. But do you see what I'm talking about on the side here? This and this, let me get it a little bit closer. These bands right here are the bands off of this. And so I was talking about them standing out a little bit. So yeah, same thing there. You can see them coming across. That's why I chose to use the same color that I was using up the center. Okay, beautiful, beautiful regal bearing. Oh my gosh, I'm just so pleased with this. Now I stopped 5 pins from the top. If you want this a little bit longer, which I'm guessing you will, let me flip this around the way that I laid it. You can, let me back up a little bit here. What you can do is you can stop 1 pin from the top and then bring that in diagonally. You might even consider adding an additional loom to this so that you've got 3 loom links and go up maybe a quarter of the way or so, just depending upon how large your wrist is. Now I just had, there it is. Let's figure out the width of this. I'll put this back down on the ground. All right, so including these beads, this is 1.25 inches maybe, a little over 1 inch wide, and it is 6 inches in length. And again, I did not use 300. I used the LE, the purple and the glitter gold. Let me check these. I used the royal purple, the cylindric, and the champagne gold, LE champagne gold. But isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh, I just absolutely love it. And I'm glad that I only had 7 of these beads. And I'll tell you why. Space-wise, if you look at this and you look at that, they're pretty much evenly spaced. And that has to do with the size of these beads. I think they were larger than the ones that Crazy Mama had used. So it turned out perfect. I think anything else would have been, if I had them closer together, they would have been butted up against each other pretty much. And you would not have seen this beautiful design here in the center. Oh goodness, I really, really love this. I am going to put a clasp on that like nobody's business. So I will have pictures for you after I straighten these beads. And this is Regal Bearing by Crazy Mama on Instagram. Please hop on over to Instagram and give her a follow for me, like her photos. I am also on Instagram under Lila's Gigi. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, please subscribe to my channel. If you give this a thumbs up, it will be in your likes section, and you will be able to go back and do it as many times as you want. Super, super easy design. Probably one of the easiest designs I've ever done. And if you know me, I don't really like to bead. Well, I love to bead. I love to add the bling, but I hate threading all these little things. But these turned out beautifully. So again, Regal Bearing by Crazy Mama. Thank you so very much for watching, and as always, be kind.